Aw, animals.
Ringling Bros refuses to let its performing big cats retire. Long marketed as the greatest show on earth, on May 21st, Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus finally drew its curtains for the final time. The company's decision to call it quits came after years of public backlash, condemning the training methods used to get the non-human performers to do certain stunts never before seen in the wild. Unfortunately, if you thought those involved may have gained a conscience in the process, you'd be sorely mistaken. According to documents obtained by CBS News, Ringling Bros owner Feld Entertainment is attempting to obtain an Endangered Species Act permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, with plans of sending 15 big cats to Circus Krone, a circus in Munich, Germany that uses animals in its acts. The permit is meant to be issued for applications which demonstrate the transfer of the animals will enhance the propagation or survival of the species. However, the Animal Legal Defense Fund claims making a nominal donation to any conservation group is enough to fill the requirements. If true, this would pretty much make the Endangered Species Act permit somewhat of a sham. Feld Entertainment claims the animals are owned by their trainer, Alexander Lacey, and since he has no further employment here in the United States, he will be taking his talents, along with his lions, tigers, and leopard, to Germany, as is his right. But they insist Lacey loves his cats and they're like members of his family. So I guess we should just take their word for it, right? Rather than retire at a cozy, reputable animal sanctuary, these creatures would much rather be shipped in crates across the world, where they'll get to continue performing with Lacey for the rest of their lives. Just look how happy they are.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
If you needed more proof that animals probably don't like performing, here it is.
Lion attacks during live circus performance. A 6-year-old circus lion in northern France could be, put to sleep after he attacked his trainer during a live performance over the weekend. Roughly 100 spectators were packed into a tent to witness what would turn out to be an unforgettable show at the Buffalo Circus. At around 5 p.m., the 30-year-old lion tamer started wrapping up the show by sending one of his 2 performing lions backstage. Suddenly, he was attacked from behind by the other lion left in the ring. Spectators could only look on in horror. The lion's jaws grabbed his handler by the throat, and the beast shook him violently as children in the audience screamed. But given how most circus animals spend their lives caged, whipped, poked, and shocked, it's not really all that surprising the lion went after his keeper, no? After watching in shock for a few seconds, other circus staff blasted the big cat with a fire extinguisher to force him to release the trainer. The man suffered serious injuries to his legs and back and was taken by helicopter to a nearby hospital. As for the lion, local French media quoted a member of the circus as saying, "He attacked. He showed that he dominated us. We can no longer work with him." Yeah, he attacked.
But why is that his fault again?
He's a lion.
Dolphins forced to jump through flaming hoops in traveling circus. In Indonesia, life for these captive dolphins is as tough as it gets. Forced to do both dangerous and clownish tricks for the public as the stars of a traveling circus, their only reward is a few dead fish here and there. The dolphins are transported from venue to venue, performing in plastic pools filled with artificial salt water and high levels of chlorine, which can cause blindness. They perform all sorts of unnatural feats, such as leaping through flaming rings, a unique behavior not witnessed anywhere in the wild ever. During the performances, music is blaring and the deafening roar of the audience is painful for the dolphins, seeing as they are acoustic creatures. Once the show is done, the dolphins are then caught in large nets and transferred onto stretchers. Loaded onto the tarp-like stretchers, they are carted off by circus staff toward rusty old trucks. In the trucks are small individual shipping crates, half filled with water, which the dolphins are placed into. Then, the circus hits the road on the way to the next city, and it's not a smooth ride. Some trips are reported to be along bumpy roads for up to 14 hours, and maybe even longer. It's not just the 72 bottlenose and Stenella dolphins who find themselves enslaved in this nightmare. Other animals forced to survive and perform in this cruel portable operation range from otters doing oddball acts to cockatoos doing stage tricks, and even sun bears riding tricycles are featured. It's a sad, sad little world that rakes in the equivalent of roughly $60,000 US each month. Though dolphins are a protected species in Indonesia, The country's lack of enforcement on illegal captures and its poor monitoring of the welfare of these animals makes it easy and convenient for these circuses to remain in business.
Oh snap! A dangerous animal stunt nearly landed a man in an early grave after the reptile he was performing with decided to have a little bite. During an act in Vietnam's Hanam province, a circus troupe used a younger, inexperienced crocodile after their old standby died earlier that day. So when one performer stuck his head into the vicious predator's open mouth, the croc promptly clamped down. The man got thrashed around briefly but managed to free himself from the croc's jaws. His cheeks may have gotten bloody and ripped up, but at least he's alive. As for the croc, it's probably safe to say he's out of a job. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Killer whale who was once free beaches herself after performing. Morgan the orca whale has endured a rough few years after being rescued from the waters near the Netherlands back in 2010. Found emaciated and dying, a local theme park, Dolphinarium Harderwijk, was able to acquire a rescue, rehabilitate, and release permit from the Dutch government that would allow her to be taken in. Morgan was brought back to full health, but rather than send her back to the wild as promised, she was taught tricks and kept in small tanks over the course of 18 months. Eventually, she was sent over to another theme park in Spain called Loro Parque, whose 6 orcas all happen to be on loan from SeaWorld. Activist organizations have reported that since she's been there, Morgan's been forced to perform for the public and is constantly subjected to sexual pressures by male orca whales, even though she's believed to be very young. This video, recorded on May 16th and released by Rickleberry's Dolphin Project, shows Morgan beaching herself on a concrete ledge after a performance in the Canary Islands. According to witnesses, she waited there for more than 10 minutes. While many are speculating the act was a suicide attempt, other experts are not so sure, saying she may have instead been trying to escape from the other orcas bullying her. Morgan was the first wild orca brought into captivity in roughly 25 years, which could make her invaluable to captive breeding programs. In March, SeaWorld announced the end to captive breeding of their orca whales. While Loro Parque has promised to adhere to SeaWorld's changes, time will tell whether these parks are genuine in their commitment to stop breeding these majestic creatures. Fortunately, organizations like Rickleberry's Dolphin Project and the Free Morgan Foundation exist to combat Morgan's captors so that one day she may once again swim free.